In this, the first podcast for the new year, I will be talking about where the Seek Out and Play channel goes from here, the recently completed Warfighter Battlepack Kickstarter and Warfighter Corner, what new games and new ways to shoot new games will be featured on In the Works, and what is coming up for February 2025, all on Speak Out and Play. Hello and welcome to Speak Out and Play, a monthly podcast devoted to the happenings at the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope that Santa has given you all the games that you wanted. But before I get to the main topic, I want to touch upon something that I spoke about in the last episode of Speak Out and Play. I didn't want to go into details at the time, but what I can say is that my life has taken a turn after nearly a decade. Since the summer of 2015, I have been taking care of my parents, both of whom had suffered from debilitating conditions that only got worse over time. And now, my watch is over, and I am facing a new chapter in my life. I started the Seek Out and Play channel in part to have a hobby that I could invest in during that time. And thanks to all that I've learned, I will continue to work on the channel for the foreseeable future. And to that end, I have purchased a few new games and some new equipment to help me progress in my efforts. But I will get to that later. Today, the future is now. The end is the new beginning. New chapters mean new directions, and for the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, that new direction is one that will most likely not be a whole lot different than where the channel has been traveling for nearly 6 years. Or perhaps it will be considerably different. It's really hard to say since the impact of where I want to take the channel will not be fully known until I implement it. Plus, since I'm more comfortable talking about the things that I have done rather than what I plan to do, I'll start with what will be ending on the Seek Out and Play channel. I have created my last upfront rules video, at least for the foreseeable future. There are still a few upfront videos on the rules that I have yet to post on the channel, although they have been scheduled for this year. The last one was focused on artillery rules and released earlier this month. There is also another upfront video coming up next month for February, and you'll see more about that in coming attractions. The last video in the Upfront Rules series that I have created will be on campaigns, which not so coincidentally is the last section of the rules in the Upfront Rulebook. That means that on Christmas Eve 2025, you will get a compilation video that puts together all the rules videos that I have made for Upfront. You can watch them in sections on the playlist or all at once in a single video. It's your choice. It ends what was originally a series of videos that I had no intention of making in the first place. And that's because I was focusing my channel around Warfighter. And I didn't think doing any videos on Upfront would be worth the effort. I thought that somebody else would take up the mantle and build their channel around Upfront. And who knows, maybe somebody has already done that, or somebody will do that given how good the system has proven to be over the past 40 plus years. Now, this is not to say that I've made my last Upfront video. I may do a more expanded version of the vehicle rules, for example. However, in terms of the overall rules and the 501 City Fightin' 4 variants, that era has come to an end. With Upfront in the rear-view mirror, will there be another game that gets the same kind of treatment? Well, that answer is most likely yes, but it will depend on which game. I have a few games that I'd like to try out, and perhaps one of them will be featured in a series of rules explanation videos, much like Upfront. Whether it reaches, I believe, 24 videos, that remains to be seen, but hey, gotta start somewhere. One option is to go back to the Undaunted series, especially with the new release of Undaunted Callisto 2200, or as No Pun Included calls it, Undaunted Callisto 10 o'clock. The sci-fi setting and use of new components makes it a natural to expand on the rules videos that I have done for the series. In fact, the video I made on how to play Undaunted Normandy, which I did years ago, is still one of the most popular that I have created. I've also been looking at the numerous Dune games that are around, thanks in part to the recent films and TV series that are dedicated to the Frank Herbert book series. Now, I've yet to make a purchase, but if I do, it will probably mean dedicating one Wednesday a month to the Dune series. Now, the obvious choice is the version from Gale Force 9, which was originally released by Avalon Hill and has become a classic. But there are several other versions as well that have enjoyed considerable popularity. So what that means, if I choose to go down this path, will mean purchasing 2 to 3 of the Dune games and rotating them in the lineup for the third Wednesday of each month. However, the drawback to all that is the desire for many wargamers to see more material on solitaire games. I believe the terms solitaire and solo playable have replaced simulation as the most common term found in wargame marketing. Our hobby has become in large part, if not dominated by, solitaire playable games. What I've discovered in covering solitaire games, however, is the limitation in the number of videos that can be made on each game. Now, Warfighter, for example, is often played solitaire, but it is really a cooperative game for up to 6 players. Plus, the series has grown massively over the past few years. But in terms of solitaire games, once the solitaire system is explained, I found it difficult to find new topics that are worthy, at least in my view, of producing more videos on that very same solitaire game. Not that it's impossible, but one caveat is that solitaire systems tend to be puzzles. And once you solve the puzzle, or explain the puzzle, and even when there's random tables involved, it provides little variation to the game itself. The topics of solitaire games themselves tend to run out pretty quickly, as compared to cooperative games or 2-player games like Upfront, which I could, build a whole channel around that. 2-player and especially multiplayer games tend, in my view, to lend themselves to making more videos as they provide more topics to cover within each game. Even a game that has rather limited strategies, such as Kremlin, offers multiple variations that I could make several videos on. However, given the reception of my last video on Kremlin, I'm probably not going down that road again for quite a while. Of course, I'm sure others will have ideas about what games I should cover, and I am certainly open to suggestions. What will continue is that at least once per week, a video will be released on Wednesday. One of my original goals was to show that it was possible to produce an edited video in a reasonable amount of time and post it once a week. It's almost become a science with me, but then again, my main interest has always been in video production. But whether others follow, take their channels in new directions, or nothing changes at all is not for me to say. However, what I can say is that there are some new things to talk about in Warfighter Corner. In today's Warfighter Corner, we have a Kickstarter that just ended, a Kickstarter that may begin in March, and some new expansion packs that I purchased for the series. The 4th edition of the Warfighter Battle Packs has just completed on Kickstarter, featuring 19 new battle packs that will hopefully be published and out by late summer or perhaps early fall of this year. I won't go into details on each battle pack, but I will break down the different categories and provide the basic topics for the battle packs that are part of the Kickstarter. Warfighter Vietnam gets a single battle pack that's devoted to vehicles. These range from large tanks to aerial reconnaissance, transportation, and medevac units. Combined with some new vehicle rules, you gain access to each vehicle for a limited amount of time. It's not all that surprising that only a single battle pack is available for Warfighter Vietnam, as that core set and series of battle packs have been recently released. But hey, the more vehicles, the merrier. The modern core set gets the bulk of the battle packs with 10 that start with nationalities such as Sweden and Finland, Spain and Portugal, Belgium and the Netherlands, and Norway and Denmark, along with the United States Marine Corps. Plus, there are battle packs such as Operation Barras, which took place in Sierra Leone, Nasiriyah, which was part of the Iraq War, COP Keating, which is based on the Battle of Kamdesh in Afghanistan, and specialty packs that include a winter pack for battling in freezing conditions, like what I'm experiencing right now in Oklahoma, and biohazard hostiles, bringing zombie-like mutants into the battle against improvised weapons. That sounds interesting. One interesting battle pack as well is Missions and Objectives. That focuses on the Middle East and jungle locations. Now, I hope that such battle packs will extend into World War II as well as other core sets, because I think that that's a really interesting concept. Speaking of World War II, it receives 4 battle packs that include the Battle of Okinawa for the Pacific Theater, Operation Cobra and Operation Market Garden for Europe, and Operation Torch for the North Africa Theater. And for those of you that love Warfighter Fantasy, the final 3 battle packs included in the Kickstarter begin with Shadow Shifter, which introduces a new type of hero that sneaks stealthily in the shadows. Druid, which focuses on natural magic that can summon animals, heal allies, and control the elements. And finally, Swashbuckler, which brings adventure in the high seas that focuses on pirates, sword fights, and who can down the most rum. Well, maybe not the last one, but that might be fun to do. Who knows? I certainly am looking forward to the Swashbuckler one. I'm really interested to see how that works. And if it does do well, that maybe it'll kick off some other similar battle packs for Warfighter Fantasy in the future. Now, I probably will not get all of them, as modern and admittedly fantasy do take a back seat to World War II for me. But hey, I think that there's plenty to choose from for everyone that plays Warfighter. So, I mean, I was really looking forward to the Kickstarter, and I hope that there are battle packs in there for you as well. For those that follow the events of DVG on their Facebook page, there is a new Warfighter Kickstarter, which is tentatively set to begin in March, although I can't say for sure, but that's when it was set. From what I've read, this will not be a new core set like what we've seen before, but rather an expansion of the Warfighter system itself. It is reported to be a division-level system that has supply lines as a central focus of gameplay. Now, whether this is for all Warfighter core sets or just one, I don't know. Hopefully more information will be released soon, and when that happens, I will speak about it in the podcast. But until then, I guess we can only dream. On the home front, I went ahead and ordered all the rest of the battle packs from World War II that I did not own. And now that I have all of them, except for one, which is number 44, Medals. I hope to rectify that in my next order. I'm not sure how many features I will do on the battle packs that I already own. On the one hand, they are informative as I show the cards, explain the missions and objectives, and they are easy and quick to do. I always like easy and quick. However, they are also quite limited in terms of their appeal, and I'm looking forward in the channel to broadening out the topics and hopefully reach a new audience, but hey, we'll see. Certainly some of the packs are worth featuring in the unboxing format, such as the aforementioned Medals, and double packs such as Crete and Castle Itter. At some point, I will complete my collection of the Warfighter Vietnam and Chittor expansion packs and campaigns. They will get a series of videos as well, particularly the new campaign rules. And that is what it is in Warfighter Corner. But what is in the works for the Seek Out and Play channel itself? Obviously, there will be more videos on Warfighter, if you haven't guessed that by now. This may include the new Warfighter version that is coming out on Kickstarter, ostensibly in March. Again, we'll have to wait and see what more information comes out before the Kickstarter begins, or even if it begins in March. You know, just sit back and wait. Now, on my channel, I have created all the videos up to, with the exception of Speak Out and Plays, up to the beginning of July 2025. And so that gives me a few months to implement a new direction for the channel. Basically, I've been using the same camera and lights since I began way back in April of 2019. And while I've added some new equipment and lights to the videos, the approach I've been using is basically the same. So one of the changes that's in the works, in fact, I've got it, is I'm going 4K. Going 4K for the camera is one goal that I've had for quite some time, but I had to find the right camera to make it work properly for what I do, which means it's got to be easy to use and it has to look great, which is not, you know, those goals are pretty tough to achieve, but I think I've done it with this camera that I've got. And now that I've achieved that, along with picking up a new, more powerful light, and wow, I tested that out and it's like Yeah, it's nearly blinding. I've also got a new laptop that is designed for video editing to make what I do go faster and to give me more options when I edit. And I've added some other equipment as well. Now, I know most of you don't really care about what I shoot the videos with or how I do my work, so I won't go into details on that. What I can say is that my plans for the channel includes creating a 4K video for the beginning of each month starting in July. So all the rest of the videos for each month will still be in the standard 1080 HD. Why? Because it's simple, it's fast, and I only have so much time during the day anyway. The 4K videos will have broader topics, and currently I'm planning on updating my personal essay series to kick off the new set of videos. However, they will be mixed with videos about single games that I will present in a how-to-play format, a sort of here's how to get started on your first game type of thing. Although in some cases it could be more of an unboxing, an explanation of components, and a basic turn sequence, depending on the game itself. And while I'm not sure exactly what direction the new types of videos will take, I can say that I know what is coming up for February 2025 on the Seek Out and Play channel. For the first Wednesday in February, Seek Out and Play presents Halls of Hegra Setup. The video briefly covers the three main phases of the game before describing the setup portion. This allows you to follow the video and set up your first game immediately. Plus, it helps prep you for the upcoming events of the game. Halls of Hegra is by Tompat Games, a solitaire effort that pits valiant Norwegian forces against the onslaught of German soldiers during World War II. The game reflects the rugged nature of the conflict in a three-part siege where you defend against the assault. For the second Wednesday in February, Seek Out and Play presents Enigma Machine, expansion number 54 of the Warfighter World War II series. This unboxing video presents the cards in the expansion, which include soldiers, weapons, skill, equipment, missions, objectives, locations, events, and the German hostiles. The expansion covers a hypothetical assault on a German U-boat to retrieve the Enigma machine. The different missions cover a variety of assault situations, with one mission serving as an inspiration for my Warfighter 25 series. The third Wednesday in February brings another rules explanation video for the vaunted game Up Front. In this video, the reinforcement and entrenchment rules are explained. The video covers how reinforcements enter the game, including entering terrain, plus an explanation of how groups can create entrenchments, which include the benefits and penalties. Up Front is a man-to-man tactical game first published by Avalon Hill and now available through Wargames Vault. This is another in the series of rules videos that help explain how the game is played. Check out more videos when you subscribe to the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. In addition, there is a monthly Speak Out and Play podcast, which you can find on Buzzsprout and Spotify. For just $2 per month, you can support the channel by becoming a Patreon member and see the videos and podcast 48 to 72 hours in advance. At least one new video is released every week on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, so I will see you next Wednesday. And that's it for this podcast. Thank you for listening. You can catch the Speak Out and Play podcast on the Friday before the final Wednesday of each month on the Seek Out and Play Patreon page. The podcast will be broadcast on Buzzsprout and Spotify on the Monday before the last Wednesday of each month, and the video version will appear on, wait for it, the last Wednesday of each month. Keep in mind that Seek Out and Play presents at least one new video every week, so I will see you next Wednesday. And if you see Sally, bring her all the way home.